Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bold and Beautiful today. Next 3 weeks, Electra's major issue, Eric's rebellion, and wedding preparations. A patriarch draws a cue in the first week. Eric Forrester's authority has always reverberated through the corridors of Forrester Creations, but in the upcoming weeks, that authority turns into something far more perilous, rebellion. Eric is by himself in the executive office, staring at the pictures of family, power, and legacy that line the wall. Eric's pride is now mixed with disappointment and rage as he sees Ridge's portrait. Ridge is unaware that Eric has already made up his mind. Control is no longer a factor in this. Survival is at issue here. With a composed yet determined voice, Eric calls out to Carter Walton. Carter notices the change right away when he talks about correcting course and protecting the company from reckless leadership. This isn't a recommendation. It is a proclamation of war. Ridge, meantime, feels that something is wrong. Members of the board start calling off meetings. Financial permissions are delayed. Eric is stealthily and silently cutting Ridge off without confronting him. Silence, not yelling, has signaled the start of the uprising. Brooke, who lives across town, also senses it. Ridge becomes agitated and preoccupied. He dismisses her worries, but Brooke is too familiar with this family. Devastation typically ensues when a Forrester patriarch becomes silent. Eric, too? He has only just begun. Week 2. Warning bells or wedding bells. Romance rushes on at full speed while business breaks down. Carter Walton is at a turning point in both his personal and professional life. Even he is surprised by how quickly his bond with Daphne grows. What started off as consolation has developed into something indisputable and deadly in its intensity. The moment when Carter falls to one knee is both stunning and quite divisive. Yes, Daphne responds, but the space seems heavy. Not with happiness, but with inquiry. Is this a sign of love? Or flee? Taylor Hayes is conflicted as she witnesses the engagement. She observes Carter leaning too quickly and too forcefully, as if marriage could stabilize him in the midst of chaos. Taylor is also more aware than most that love that is rushed under duress frequently fails. But Steffi isn't as subtle. She doubts everything. The moment. The inspiration. Carter won't admit the weakness. When she discovers that Carter has confided in Taylor more than Daphne, her worries become acute. Lines become hazy. Boundaries are strained. Behind celebratory smiles, someone slowly starts learning truths about Daphne's history that she believed would never come to light. Plans for the wedding proceed, but the foundation is already crumbling. Week 2. Continued. Electra's serious issue blows up. Electra Forrester believed she could handle it. She believed that the truth would remain hidden. She was mistaken. An influential Forrester executive receives a single, precisely timed, anonymous email. It has timelines, records, and a name that Electra never wanted to hear. The offender? Someone Electra had faith in. Her main issue is betrayal, not merely exposure. Panic impairs Electra's judgment as she scurries to approach anyone who might be at fault. She appears suspicious the more she presses. At Forrester Creations, rumors circulate. The murmurs of conflicts of interest and cover-ups intensify. Katie Logan observes. Katie sees opportunity where others see scandal. In a time of crisis, she subtly presents herself as the answer, providing leadership, stability, and openness. Electra is unaware that Katie has already started to link herself with individuals Eric can trust. Electra's future is threatened by her past, and she might lose everything before realizing who really planned her demise. Week 3, Eric publicly strikes. The uprising becomes explosive. An unexpected board meeting is called by Eric. Ridge enters with assurance and leaves shaken. Eric challenges Ridge's leadership, judgment, and devotion to the Forrester name in front of everyone. The words are nasty but calculated. This is not a father reprimanding his son. This monarch is contesting his heir. Ridge retaliates, charging Eric of sabotage and manipulation. Eric is unfazed by Brooke's pleas for peace. He makes an announcement about a proposed restructuring that will essentially deprive Ridge of his own authority. The room explodes. Angry that Eric would publicly disparage them, Steffi takes Ridge's side. Eric, however, responds with proof, financial hazards, moral failings, and partnerships he no longer believes in. Katie doesn't say anything, and her silence says a lot. One thing is evident at the conclusion of the meeting. There will never be another Forrester Creations. Week 3. Continued imminent wedding plans. The wedding arrangements fall apart as the corporate fight intensifies. Daphne starts to feel the burden of Carter's reliance. Carter leans more on her and the prospect of marriage with each disagreement at work and assault from the Forrester family. In private, Taylor confronts Carter, asking him to calm down and consider if he needs or wants Daphne. Part of the talk is overheard by Daphne. The harm is instantaneous. She wonders about Carter's motivations. Though uncertainty has already begun to creep in, he maintains that marriage is their anchor and that this is love. Wedding coordinators are fired. Invitations are not sent. The bombshell then drops. Something from Daphne's history that is closely related to Electra's scandal comes to light. Her involvement is now seen by the board as strategic rather than merely emotional. Carter is caught off guard. Daphne feels ashamed. The truth might not survive the wedding. Week 3, last days, a new power player and Electra's reckoning. At last, Electra is in a tight spot. The board requests responses. Eric keeps a careful eye on things. In an effort to save the business, Katie makes a suggestion that would temporarily remove Electra from her current role. It's too late for Electra to comprehend that this was a multi-person attack. It was a well-planned attack. She lashes out, accusing Katie of being manipulative and of abusing her familial allegiance. Katie doesn't dispute it. It belongs to her. Because Eric does the unimaginable, he takes Katie's side in the last minutes of the 3-week arc. Not entirely. Not in public. But enough. Enough to change the power. Enough to frighten Ridge. Enough to cast doubt on Electra's future. Eric gives himself a rare, perilous smile as the camera lingers on him, alone in his office once more. The uprising was successful. Officially, Eric and Ridge are at war. Quiet tension between father and son turns into a full-fledged conflict. Eric Forrester has lost faith in Ridge to uphold the family heritage. Eric believes that Ridge's judgment has been clouded by emotion, allegiance to Brooke, and careless alliances. When Eric discovers a decision Ridge made without board approval, one that would jeopardize Forrester Creations' independence, it is the last straw. Ridge is not privately confronted by Eric. He publicly challenges him. Eric challenges Ridge's authority and dissects his choices piece by piece during an unexpected board meeting. In retaliation, Ridge accuses Eric of undermining him out of resentment and a fear of losing power. Their disagreement is not just professional but also intensely personal, unearthing decades of animosity, rivalry, and unhealed scars. Steffi fiercely supports Ridge and warns Eric that he is destroying the family. "I'm saving it," Eric retorts icily. Ridge discovers something unsettling at the conclusion of the altercation. Eric is no longer attempting to mentor him. He's attempting to take his place. A wedding is hanging on a thread. The engagement between Carter and Daphne was meant to be a bright point during a difficult period. Rather, it turns into yet another battleground. Carter clings to the notion that marriage provides security as the strain at Forrester Creations mounts. Daphne starts to feel more like a lifeline than a partner. Every wedding conversation loses its excitement and is replaced with stress and unresolved issues. Taylor is the first to notice. She challenges Carter to slow down and confront his concerns rather than hiding behind a ring when he rushes into marriage for the wrong reasons. Carter maintains that this is love, but his desperation suggests otherwise. Doubt sets in when Daphne hears a portion of their chat. Then, in a heartbreaking turn of events, Daphne's prior secrets come to light, indirectly linking her to Electra's developing controversy. All of a sudden, the board is scrutinizing the engagement, and the company is whispering about it. Daphne feels vulnerable, deceived, utilized. Plans for the wedding stall. Trust breaks down. And the query remains. Is the foundation of this wedding fear or love? The future of Electra is at risk. Electra never thought her career would fall apart so quickly. Internal records, damaging timelines, and anonymous leaks abound in the boardroom. Every action she has taken is re-evaluated. Each ally starts to pull away. Electra retaliates, claiming she is being set up, but the harm has already been done. Katie Logan calmly and precisely enters the turmoil. In order to rebuild trust, she suggests temporary leadership changes, structure, and solutions. Electra is unaware that Katie has already gained Eric's tacit approval. The conclusion isn't made public when the board meets, but the message is obvious. Electra is being neglected. Her power was taken away. Her reputation was damaged. Electra confronts Katie in a raw, emotional moment and accuses her of planning the takedown. Katie doesn't dispute it. "You made yourself vulnerable," she explains simply. "I recently noticed the opening." As Electra leaves, worried about her future, profession, and power, the reality sets in. Hesitancy is deadly in this conflict. Eric gets ready to make his last move against Ridge. Eric Forrester isn't bluffing this time. Behind closed doors, Eric gathers a silent coalition of longtime allies, board members, and legal counsel who continue to support Forrester Creations' original mission. He and Ridge are no longer at odds. He doesn't warn him anymore. He outwits him. Eric's last action is surgical rather than sentimental. A plan for restructuring. A change in the voting power. Ridge never imagined his father would employ a provision tucked away in the company's bylaws. It's too late when Ridge finally understands what's going on. Steffi demands explanations. Brooke begs for peacemaking. Eric, though, remains unfazed. Eric doesn't want to see the empire fall apart under his son's leadership, and he feels that Ridge has forgotten the legacy. Winning a debate is not the goal here. It is about putting a stop to Ridge's rule. And Eric's concluding remarks, "This company needs a different leader," seem like a death sentence. A wedding is on the verge of failing. What ought to have been happy now feels oppressive. The weight of secrets, pressure, and second thoughts causes Carter and Daphne's engagement to fall apart. Every discussion becomes tense. Every strategy feels forced. Carter is adamant that if they make a commitment, they can endure anything. However, Daphne is no longer so certain. She observes how Carter clings to her whenever things go wrong at work. How, rather than being a shared ideal, marriage has become his anchor. Additionally, Daphne recognizes that their connection is being viewed as a liability rather than a sign of affection when questions about her background start to circulate across Forrester Creations. She keeps thinking about Taylor's caution. Don't rush into forever just to escape today. Plans for the wedding stall. Trust erodes. And there's the question that nobody likes to ask. Will this wedding ever take place? Or was it doomed from the beginning? Electra might lose everything. Electra's demise picks up speed and ferocity. She is no longer viewed as an asset by the board. They perceive danger. Documents appear. Decisions from the past are reviewed. Allies disappear. Even people who used to stand up for her now avoid making eye contact. Desperation only serves to increase suspicion, despite Electra's insistence that she is the target. She approaches Eric in the hopes of finding mercy, but she finds none. He doesn't scream. He makes no accusations. This company can't afford uncertainty, he explains plainly. She is broken by their remarks. Electra understands that her job is in jeopardy and that someone else is already preparing to replace her. Her standing, her power, her prospects at Forrester Creations are dwindling. What is the most agonizing reality? It took time for this to occur. It was prearranged. The impact of Katie Logan is still growing. Katie Logan maintains her composure while everyone else is engulfed in pandemonium. She pays attention. She observes. She holds out. While others engage in open conflict, Katie develops covertly, aligning with Eric, providing the board with solutions, and portraying herself as the calm hand in the storm. She doesn't ask for authority. She deserves it. Executives start looking to her for advice. She is the first to make decisions. Additionally, Katie has a plan and is waiting in the wings when Electra falters. The change is noticeable to Brooke, and it makes her uneasy. Katie is no longer only emerging from her sister's shadow. She is constructing something of her own. It might be too late to stop Katie if everyone understands the extent of her power. Ridge and Eric are headed for a collision. Now, there is no going back. A confrontation between Eric and Ridge Forrester is imminent and will have a lasting impact on Forrester Creations' future. As Eric gets ready to reveal Ridge's shortcomings as a leader in front of the board, quiet power struggles give way to direct conflict. Sensing that the trap is getting closer, Ridge rushes to take back control, rallying Steffi, confronting Carter, and demanding allegiance from those who had previously stood firmly by his side. But everywhere he looks, fissures appear. Eric doesn't argue. He bides his time. When the confrontation does occur, it is heartbreaking rather than boisterous. Eric challenges Ridge as the Empire's founder rather than as a father. And Ridge understands that the battle isn't about winning when he challenges his authority to lead. It has to do with surviving. Before vows are exchanged, a wedding may explode. The plans for Carter and Daphne's wedding fall apart more quickly than anyone anticipated. There are problems with trust. Secrets fall out. Additionally, Forrester Creations' pressure affects their personal lives. What was once destiny now seems like a duty. Daphne starts to question whether Carter's proposal was motivated by love or by a dread of being by himself as his world falls apart. Carter pushes harder rather than listening as he senses her hesitation and panics. The tipping point occurs when Daphne's engagement is viewed by the board as a problem due to company rumors about her history. With her feelings unfiltered and her self-esteem destroyed, Daphne must make the difficult choice. Proceed down the aisle. Or leave. Electra's career could be completely destroyed. Electra falls quickly and brutally. Every choice she has taken is closely examined. All alliances were questioned. Even erstwhile supporters start to distance themselves in order to preserve their own jobs as the board loses trust. Electra retaliates by blaming others of sabotage and manipulation after realizing she is being gradually pushed out. However, the harm has already been done. Katie Logan comes forward with answers. Eric pays attention. It is too late for Electra to realize that this is not a misunderstanding. It's a takeover. Electra is forced to face the risk that she might lose not only her job but also her entire career in fashion as her authority wanes and her reputation deteriorates.